Lisa Kudrow reveals in new interview that the Friends cast still makes $20 million a year in residuals. Honestly, I prefer they get it over the studio, but I admit I'm a little surprised it's that high. I figured you had to negotiate an EP credit to make that amount on the back end of a show. Imagine earning $20 million a year for something that you don't work on anymore and get praised for everywhere you go. I contribute $10 per year, I'd guess. Like 20M each. They brought a lot of joy to a lot of people and still are. Normally, I wouldn't think anyone needed that kind of money, but in this case, I'm glad at least some artists are compensated in amounts equal to their contribution. Sorry, I didn't know how to say it any less formally, LOL. I watch this show on repeat in the background of my life, most days than not. You're welcome, cast of Friends. Smiling face with hearts. I thought this was common knowledge. It's from their contract negotiations for the last 2 seasons where they included residuals. Yet this was part of a syndication deal they signed around the final season. Every huge show at the time did this. That's why they always wanted to reach 100 episodes. That was the golden number, which enabled your show to be syndicated. Seinfeld did this with his show, but didn't collective bargain. So his co-stars didn't get a good deal with residuals. The cast has been open about it pissing them off. This 2% syndication deal was a result of the entire group negotiating this around season 10. Wonder who get Matthew's check. I know his estate gets the check, but WHI is the beneficiary of his estate.
Man.
And I can't afford a house, or an apartment, or just to live on my own lol. Cries in grocery coupons. Question, with Matthew Perry passed, who gets his residuals? He had no wife or kids, so maybe his parents? What's up with all the Lisa Kudrow interviews lately? Cool that the cast united and got that. I remember seeing for Seinfeld, Jason, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and Michael Richards apparently campaigned for a similar deal, but Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld didn't back them up. Network just said nope, and that was that. So they don't have to work at all, really.
Goddamn.
Imagine doing a job and then decades later getting paid again and again for it. Like, I get it, but also, good lord, I wish I was still getting paid for shit I did at work 10 years ago, lol. Happy for them, but this really pisses me off as someone who can barely afford college, lol. Matt LeBlanc stated the $20 million/year figure on his show episodes a few years back. It actually makes sense why a lot of them didn't pursue high-profile movies after Friends ended. Wealthy and retired at 35. As I keep Friends on in the background daily, while working from home, I'm responsible for at least $1 million, lol. If that's why the actors make, I can't imagine what the studios get in residuals. They totally deserve it, and good for them. So no one told you life was gonna go this way. Meanwhile, Aaron Paul gets nada, and is probably like, Jeff, Giphy 3 OEJHCWDU 7F, 4 Cuddy. Motherfuckers should start the Schwimmer religion. Gotta pray once a day for David, and you're good. Yeah, and I'm responsible for just, like, half of that.
Good for them.
They deserve it. This show is fantastic. For me, Friends helps with those horrible moments of anxiety/panic that I have, and Friends and The Big Bang Theory are shows I turn on when I'm super anxious and also when I'm anxious and need to sleep, if that makes sense.